This video is brought to you by my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. Check it out for personalized Synastry chart readings and monthly transit tarot readings. Link in the description. Welcome everyone to the 11th Celebrity Synastry chart reading, where I will be looking into Evan Peters and Emma Roberts. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Adeline. I look at the dynamic between two celebrities using astrology, specifically Synastry. For those new and returning, I take notes on a Synastry chart and look at the personal planets, signs, aspects, and if birth times available, house overlays. I share these notes and add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. And of course, as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below and let's get a discussion going. So if that sounds good to you, like, subscribe, and keep on watching. Starting off with the sun, both of their suns are in Aquarius. They likely live in an urban area. I'm not sure if they live together, but I assume they probably did separately live in an urban area, being, in the careers they probably are living in a more big city. It's a progressive relationship. They maintain their independence. They share intellectual interests. It's an excellent mental relationship, and the relationship could possibly lack emotional depth. Evan's sun in Emma's second house. Marriage is not possible. I think they have broken up completely now. As far as I know, they had a relationship. It went toxic on Emma's end, and now they're not together. I don't think it was an on-off, hopefully. Emma is a valuable asset to Evan, and she may feel used. Emma senses Evan wants something more. Okay, this is weird. The fact that we're seeing that Emma feels used in this relationship and can sort of sense it, that's both maybe working towards a common goal. I assume this is related to they were on a TV show together, if I'm not mistaken, and them in general being like young actors in Hollywood. Evan sees Emma as someone who can help him achieve goals. This is something I was not expecting. I feel like I was sensing this reading would take a particular turn with what we know publicly, but this is not it. Evan's sun conjunct to Emma's Mercury. They have good communication, they enjoy learning together, productive domestic life. I'm guessing they probably did live together or did stay over at each other's places, because we saw already twice there is a element of living together, so that twice. They share and talk about ideas. Emma values Evan's views and she feels free to speak around Evan. Evan's sun trine Emma's Mars. They're supportive of each other. There is healthy competitiveness. I assume this relates to them achieving the same goal together and probably within their careers. They can deal with challenges together. Neither feels blocked by the other. I feel like this goes back to them being both Aquariuses. Or not just that, but in the beginning we saw that because of that. They both really maintain their independence, stay out of each other's ways. Evan admires Emma's drive and courage. They both express themselves in a straightforward manner, encourage the other's goals and visions. Emma expresses her desire for Evan frequently. I feel like this also relates to how she feels very free to speak around him, and doesn't think before she speaks, I guess, that sort of vibe. Both can rely on each other when they're demotivated. So far we're seeing that there is a productive level of this relationship. They're very supportive of each other with their goals, and they can, deal with those challenges together. They stay out of each other's ways. They're independent in this relationship. Evan's sun opposite Emma's Jupiter. There's a positive meeting. Difficult marriage. So we're already seeing twice how, marriage, not really in the cards for them. Never will be, I guess. There's a sense of unreliability. They have different life philosophies. Desire to make each other happy. Evan sometimes sees Emma as unrealistic. Emma can sometimes see Evan as being self-centered. I assume this goes back to her feeling a bit used in this relationship. Sometimes can expect too much of each other, and Evan brings stability to this relationship. Evan's sun conjunct Emma's Saturn. Evan is resentful of Emma. I assume this is going to the accusations, or I don't know if they were confirmed rumors or not. There was just, publicly there were things said about Emma and what she did in the relationship. I assume this relates to that. They need to make time for fun. They're able to depend on each other, can overcome obstacles together. We see again dealing with challenges together. Relationship strengthens over the years. I question that. Emma needs to learn to stop being so critical, and she can be threatened by Evan's individuality. Evan's vitality diminishes after being with Emma. I don't like this. Oh, this is... Evan needs to learn to not be so sensitive to criticism. I mean, so far, like, it's weird, isn't it? Because, like, if he's, like, using her, I don't know, it's weird. I don't, like, thus far, it's a weird relationship that I'm not super into. They both feel they can have a stable relationship. Emma's sun, Sextile, Evan's Saturn. Long-term relationship. So yeah, I'm sure, I don't know how long it went for, but like, yeah. Like, just because you don't get married doesn't mean it can't be long-term, right? They work on common goals together. We see again, Evan is loyal to Emma. Hopefully not because of the whole thing we saw with where she feels a bit used by him and he's kind of using her. They both feel they can rely on each other. They both feel a sense of commitment to each other and can work together in business. I don't want to be like a public relationship, but like it's kind of, this relationship so far is a bit toxic, I think. Like, especially with the last aspect we saw, like, Evan seems to be kind of using Emma, and Emma seems to be just, like, crushing Evan. But they both feel a sense of commitment to each other, and we both keep seeing they work on goals together and everything. And so it's like, did they, like, stay together because, like, of their careers? Emma's sun sextile Evan's Uranus. They start as friends. We saw before how they have a positive meeting, so I assume they started as something friendly. It's a relationship of freedom we see again. Emma is attracted to Evan's originality. Interesting. Okay, because now we're seeing she's attracted to this originality and individuality he has, but she seems to be threatened by it from what we saw before. They enjoy intellectual conversations together and they both encourage the other to be themselves. Both have a strong attraction to the other. Frequent changes occur in the relationship. Emma finds Evan to be inspiring and exciting, and she may feel threatened by Evan's lack of limits. Why do we keep seeing, like, okay, I know we've seen it twice, but I feel like it's weird that we've already seen twice how she feels threatened by him. Relationship works best when both encourage the other's independence. Like, I mean, their best is not like the best, you know, there's a bit of a difference. So now we're on to moon. So we have Evan's moon in Libra and Emma's moon in Capricorn. Emma may not be affectionate enough for Evan. Emma doesn't find security in the relationship like Evan does. I feel weird saying this because Emma is a nepotism baby herself, like through her aunt. So I feel weird being like, oh, like, Evan was using Emma and like using the connection with her, because it's like piggybacking on something. It's like seeing those like little planes like getting dragged by a bigger plane, or little boat being dragged by a big boat, like sort of thing. But I feel like it's weird, like if Evan finds a lot of security in this relationship and paired with he is kind of using her and sees her as valuable, like, I don't know. Evan does not always feel fulfilled here and he wants to spend more time relaxing than Emma. Evan's moon in Emma's 9th house. Evan idolizes Emma and feels she is out of his league. See, I don't want to like say Evan was like using Emma. I mean, I've been saying that because that's what the chart showed. However, it's a bit weird what we're seeing. Like, we keep seeing a pattern of like Evan seems to have a bit of like other intentions for this relationship. Evan brings out the best in Emma. Emma may become emotionally attached to Evan. Maybe that's why, like, because we're also seeing she feels a bit threatened by him and, like, with his, like, individuality. But the fact that, like, if he's kind of not in this relationship for the right purposes and she is feeling emotionally attached to him, I feel like that could totally be another, like, block. Like, so that could be another reason why Emma may not feel like, you know, secure in this relationship, because like, what am I doing here? Emma may become dependent on Evan, possible for long distance. They share similar attitudes on politics and religion, and they have mutual respect, admiration, and affection. I see the mutual respect and admiration, like we've seen that they do seem to respect each other as business partners and work partners. We kept seeing they can work together. Their moons are squared together. I should have probably said both Libra and Capricorn are cardinal signs. Timing is difficult. We just saw possibility for long distance. They find each other's habits unbearable. Different views regarding the home. It's weird. I don't think we've had a reading like this where we've seen like quite a few, I'd say few, like 3 aspects repeated so far of their like home life and domestic life. Past relationships from both sides are carried into this. Evan's moon, Trine Emma's Mercury. They feel comfortable talking to each other about everything. It's a harmonious relationship. Emma enjoys being emotionally nourished by Evan. I mean, just because she enjoys it doesn't mean it happens often, sorry. Emma provides a foundation for Evan's feelings, and he is comfortable expressing his feelings with Emma. So I'm glad there seems to be a bit of like decent communication. We haven't seen anything about communication so far, just the like intentions and the feelings in the relationship. Evan's moon, Trine Emma's Mars. Instinctively drawn to each other, there is mutual attraction and it's a lively relationship. I hope lively in a good way. Evan nurtures and feeds Emma's ego. I mean, honestly, if he is using her, like, that kind of would be a way to, like, boost someone's ego, I would say. Like, if someone is, I mean, not in a good way, definitely not in a good way, but if someone is using you because they think you're so famous and, like, you know, you have really good connections, I can see why, especially for, like, a young girl in Hollywood who probably doesn't feel very good in herself in that way, because she is in herself like using someone else. So for someone else to see her as like, you know, kind of powerful in that way, I can see why that could be an ego boost potentially. Emma teaches Evan how to be brave and confident. Both learn about their instincts and needs here. I hope they do, because they seem to like, yeah, it's a bit different there. Arguing is not uncommon and expressing feelings is spontaneous here. I hope that expressing feelings spontaneously in the lively relationship is in a good way. I don't like seeing that with the arguing is not uncommon. Evan's moon sextile Emma's Jupiter. There's good fortune and they're a popular couple, so I'm assuming they kind of benefited together of being together. Honest communication, excessiveness could be an issue. Likely for them to support charities, I'm not sure if they did, but that's there. And they have an intellectual understanding, I'm pretty sure we saw again. Evan's moon, Trine Emma's Saturn. Building on past traditions is important. Stable relationship. Potential for accumulating wealth together, we just saw. Evan sees Emma as mature and she is accountable with Evan. Emma prioritizes domestic life. We're seeing the domestic, like, home life again. Like, I know I'm making probably a bigger deal out of this notion, but I don't think I've seen this in any other reading where there's constant, like, you know, domestic life or home life or living together. Because normally that maybe will come up once, if that, but this many times. Emma's desire for a commitment is appealing to Evan. I don't like this because obviously if she's committed to him, that's good for Evan. Emma finds it difficult to be emotionally caring. We saw that with the moon signs, with her moon in Capricorn and his moon in Libra. Can achieve mutual long-term goals together, again with achieving goals together. Emma's moon square Evan's Mars. It's a stormy relationship and an emotional roller coaster. Yeah, so I think we saw before, like, I mean, it was technically, we saw it was a lively relationship and expressing feelings being spontaneous, but like, it's not good. You know, we're starting to see this probably was a bit of a toxic relationship in one way. They both will need to work out issues as they come and they're very reactive to each other. Yeah, I see that. Difficult relationship emotionally if there are children. Good, they're not going to have children. Hopefully won't get back together. Evan doesn't have the patience to connect with Emma's feelings. Possibility for codependency. I'm pretty sure we saw on Emma's part that she could potentially become dependent on Evan. It's hard to relax together. I assume this relates back to Evan wanting to be more relaxed in this relationship and in general than Emma. Evan's independence makes Emma feel secure. I assume that's the root of the issue, why she can be so threatened by his individuality, and resentment can grow. So yeah, I'm not liking this so far because we're seeing there's a toxic nature to this relationship, and both of them being in this relationship, like, neither play a good part in the relationship, if that makes sense. Like, Evan seems to be a bit detached and sort of, kind of is using Emma, which is weird to say because Emma is the nepotism baby. You know, she's not, you know, the star. Like, she is now, but not, you know, she's still a nepotism baby, and it's weird for Evan to be kind of using her. It's a bit weird cycle. But Emma here seems to feel very insecure, very threatened. She seems to be a codependent, and which sucks because it doesn't seem like there is anything to attach to you know, she doesn't seem to be emotionally fulfilled in this relationship or anything. It's kind of like she just latched onto Evan. Emma's moon conjunct Evan's Uranus. There's instant attraction. Unpredictability makes long-term difficult. Evan is dominant. There's an exciting meeting. Friends play a part in the meeting. So we saw before how they started off as friends and they have a positive meeting. So I assume they met like with friends or like in friend groups or whatever. They share an unusual lifestyle together. I assume this is mostly relating to the fact like them being, you know, celebrities and everything. Emma creates an accepting atmosphere for Evan. I'm pretty sure we're seeing again. So yeah, again with the lack of emotional satisfaction on Emma's bit. Like she seems to be trying to provide that for Evan. Evan brings excitement to Emma's life, but she sees him as unreliable. And this just came to mind, like, because we just saw Evan is dominant. I didn't comment on it, but I feel like he probably is dominant or has more power in this relationship because it's the whole thing, like, the more invested and more effort you put into a relationship, the less power you really have. And I feel like Evan, he doesn't seem to be very particularly super invested in this relationship, so I feel like that's where his dominance and his power comes from. Emma's moon conjunct Evan's Neptune. Emma makes Evan feel safe. Evan expects unconditional understanding. Emma is possessive of Evan, yeah, like, because of his insecurity and everything. Emotional dependency, most likely from Emma's part. Art is a shared interest, so they have creative endeavors in acting. They may lose themselves in each other. They sense and feel each other. Emma feels that Evan cannot fulfill her needs for stability. Yeah, it's not really surprising. They idealize each other. We saw this from Evan's part earlier. Evan finds it easy to read Emma. So I feel like this is a very weird relationship because I feel like Evan, like, I was kind of going into this like, oh, Emma's going to be kind of the bad guy. But I feel like both of them are trash in this relationship. Like, hopefully they grew from their lessons and everything and now they're a bit better. So now on to Mercury. Both of their Mercuries are in Aquarius. They have abstract conversation together. They both tend to be argumentative. We're seeing again intellectually stimulating, and they both share detached and objective values. I'm pretty sure we saw before how they have similar philosophies and life values. Evan's Mercury in Emma's second house. Difficult to see eye to eye together. They lack common views. I feel like this is mostly coming from their roles in the relationship. Both get the impression that the other doesn't get them. I agree, because they both seem to be in here for very different purposes. Their Mercuries are conjunct together, so they think like each other, they share interests, they enjoy each other's company, and they're good friends. They value each other, they approach problems the same way. We keep seeing similar problem solving. They can work on problems together. They just get each other, see eye to eye most of the time. Also, I assume like outside of the relationship they would, like, it's just they seem to be, I feel like them getting into this relationship was sort of like garden. It was a garden for bad things to grow, you know, when they got into that relationship. Misunderstandings are unlikely. Disagree. Possibility for heated debates. I'm linking this back to the argument thing. Both feel they have found the intellectual match. I mean, I'm glad we've seen a couple times before they have an intellectually stimulating relationship. I'm glad that's going for them, one thing. Evan's Mercury, Trine Emma's Mars. Emma stimulates Evan's mind. Emma energizes Evan. Emma helps Evan develop his ideas. I don't like seeing this because it's like, just the nepotism is coming through, isn't it? Evan teaches Emma how to be more reasonable and they work well together. I feel like, I don't want to be like they should have been friends. I feel like they should have probably been co-workers because they have a good intellectual relationship. We continuously keep seeing that they work well together, they solve goals together, achieve goals together, solve problems together. I feel like they should have stayed as co-workers. Like, obviously destiny is the way it is, and like this chart will be completely different if that's what they were meant to be. They both move forward in this relationship. I don't like seeing this with like Evan using Emma. Like, Emma doesn't seem to be using Evan at all. Like, she has her own problems in this relationship. But Evan, I don't like seeing this. Evan helps Emma to problem solve. There's healthy intellectual competition. We're getting the healthy competitiveness back. Enjoy debating together. What's with them? Like, they seem to argue a lot, like, and debate a lot. But, you know, we haven't seen that many. I think this is the only one where they're arguing or debating is okay. Emma takes Evan's words personally. Okay, that's why okay. Yeah. Evan's Mercury opposite Emma's Jupiter. They have different philosophical views. They frequently interrupt each other. What a surprise. Evan sees Emma as too flippant. There's mutual lack of understanding, and Emma sees Evan as too rational. Evan's Mercury conjunct Emma's Saturn. Emma influences Evan to be more productive. Why? I don't know. I've noticed this, but she seems to be like helping him a lot in this relationship. Practical conversations. Evan is not comfortable talking to Emma. That's a bit weird because he seems to be, I've commented before, he seems to be detached and not really opening up to Emma. So Emma makes Evan feel self-conscious. There's difficult communication. Yeah. And Emma criticizes Evan. Okay. That's probably why he doesn't feel very comfortable talking to her. There's mutual respect in the beginning. I like the beginning bit because I see that they probably were really good co-workers, worked really well together in the movies, did really well, probably good friendship foundation, and then Emma feels threatened by Evan. We keep seeing she's threatened by this guy, which could possibly be why she acted maybe a bit defensive, like not acted in the right way, but like, you know, in her mind it probably was correct not to defend her, but just trying to get into her brain and why she did what she did. Emma acts as a teacher with Evan. I 100% see that. Emma's Mercury sextile Evan's Mars. Evan encourages Emma to put her thoughts into action. I mean, they can both influence each other in that way. How they work together, both of them we've seen a billion times. Evan can take things too personally and they inspire each other to improve themselves. Emma's Mercury square Evan's Pluto. Frequent intellectual arguments. So I assume, because we keep seeing like the debating thing, like a lot of times as well with the whole domestic and living together stuff. So I assume that they both can kind of like reasonably talk about things, and then it probably gets very like superficial things they probably talk about, nothing related to their own relationship. It just can get out of hand probably, I'm guessing. That's what it seems like. Both may hold on to issues for too long. I definitely see this from Emma. She seems to be harboring a lot of resentment to Evan. Emma is overwhelmed by this dynamic. I'm not surprised. She doesn't seem very comfortable in this relationship either. Neither of them do. Emma wants to understand Evan deeply. Emma feels controlled by Evan. Evan wants to know Emma's secrets and he tries to control Emma's thoughts. So now on to Venus. We have Evan's Venus in Sagittarius and Emma's Venus in Pisces. These are both mutable signs. They look for the best in each other. Not the best in this kind of relationship, I would say. Evan gets impatient with Emma. I assume maybe this is why she feels a bit controlled by him. Evan wants Emma to toughen up. They share restless qualities and appreciate what the other has to offer. Evan's Venus in Emma's 12th house. Evan is deeply moved by Emma. Evan is needy and vulnerable around Emma. I mean, needy for her what? Like, connections? I don't know. Evan acts different in this relationship. I feel like both of them do. Like, I hope both of them do. It's one of those things, it's like reminding me of the phrase, like, someone wouldn't have done something if they didn't meet this person. I feel like this is the case for these two. I feel like Evan would act different in this relationship because I know it's weird to say he used Emma because Emma in itself is an nepotism baby. I've said this a billion times. But he does seem to be using her in that way. And he wouldn't do that with anyone else, I would say, because, you know, Emma is in a very unique position. And I'm sure Emma also acts different in this relationship because this is a very unique situation as well, especially for her. I'm sure she's very, at least aware, in one way or another, subconsciously or consciously, that she, you know, she got her way to Hollywood through her connections. And I assume it would, like we saw before, this boost, like Evan boosts her ego. I'm guessing this relates to, like, Emma probably feels like, she probably feels used. But at the same time, like, she probably does feel a bit more, like, her ego boosted, a bit more powerful if Evan, you know, wants to use her. And that is a situation where you would act particularly strange around someone, and it's a unique situation. I don't know if Emma is going to find someone like Evan again. I don't think Evan will find someone like Emma again. I don't, because you know he's successful now. I don't feel like he needs it. Emma feels Evan is too good to be true. Emma feels insecure in this relationship, and Evan tries to hold on to this relationship. Gosh, this is everything repeating, and it's nothing good. The Venuses are squared together, so they approach love and domestic life in different ways. We'll sing again. Attracted to the differences, and these differences become more obvious over time. Different social backgrounds. Yeah, I haven't said this specifically, but I'm not surprised. Like, yeah. Decision making together is complicated. They have different social needs. Neither know how to please each other. Yeah, I feel like especially from Evan's part, he doesn't really know what to do with Emma. Arguments over money easily occur. Great, we're seeing more arguing. Difficult long-term relationship, we're seeing again. They both need to learn to be open, and they have an ability to have an honest and balanced relationship. Keyword is an ability. It's not guaranteed having this honest, balanced relationship. Emma's Venus conjunct Evan's Jupiter. It's a fortunate relationship we see again. Mutual attraction we're also seeing again. Forgiving. I see this because we've seen a couple times before, like long term. I mean, difficult, but long term. But also, I'm pretty sure they literally were a long term couple, so that will make sense. And with the way this relationship is, you would have to be forgiving for this to continue for so long. They travel together, they enjoy each other's company. I'm pretty sure we're seeing again. Generous with each other. We saw before how there were elements of excessiveness. Emma is affectionate with Evan. I'm pretty sure we saw before how she has some difficulty doing this, so with great difficulty, I assume she doesn't. People enjoy being in their presence. It's kind of weird, like, Emma's Venus square Evan's Saturn. Evan is critical and demanding of Emma. Aren't we seeing this again, that he's a bit demanding and controlling of her? Emma sees Evan as unsympathetic. I'm not surprised. He does seem to be a bit detached emotionally, not satisfying her in that way. Emma eventually withholds affection from Evan. She seems to have trouble when it comes to affection, I feel like. She seems to have great difficulty with showing affection and being vulnerable. Evan sees Emma as childish and undisciplined, and any criticism is rooted from jealousy. Emma's Venus trine Evan's Pluto. Emotionally fulfilling, only for Evan, I would say. Not likely to go stale. Again, with like we saw with the lively thing, I don't think this is in a good way. Like, not likely to go stale. You know, stale is, you know, the definition of stale is like it's boring, it's dead. If something is not boring and dead, it, you know, that can manifest in very different ways, both very positive and both very negative. Both enjoy growing from this relationship, so I assume they both probably look back on this relationship, I don't want to say with great fondness, but like they both probably kind of look at it as a good learning experience. I'm guessing they don't regret it as such because of what they learned from it. They want to have children together. It's weird how we keep seeing this like domestic life there. I mean, before we saw their emotional relationship would be difficult if they have children, but children is being brought up again, so they probably did take each other very seriously. Emma sees Evan as a soulmate. Gosh, took each other seriously, especially on Emma's part. And Emma considers Evan irresistible. So now we're into Mars. We have Evan's Mars in Aries and Emma's Mars in Gemini. Both are impulsive and live in the moment. I mean, I don't mind this, like, generally. Like, it's not a bad thing if two people are this way. But I feel like from what we've seen before, especially the arguments seem to be very, like, happen very quickly and impulsively. And, like, they're both very reactive to each other. This isn't great to see. Evan is easily irritated with Emma. He doesn't seem to, I don't want to be like he doesn't seem to like her that much, but, like, he seems very annoyed of her. Like, Evan's Mars in Emma's 4th house. Evan pushes Emma out of her comfort zone. Evan can't provide the peace that Emma wants. I think we saw something like this before. Evan feels flustered around Emma. Like we saw before how he idolizes her. I feel like, because he seems to be a bit annoyed with her. Like, I wonder if, like, it's because she's not, you know, fulfilling. I don't want to say fulfilling his fantasies, but, like, she's not, like, what he imagined her to be, I would say. Emma is nurturing to Evan. I see that. She does seem to be, yeah, like, I don't want to say, like, teachers are nurturing, but, like, sort of, yeah, helping him out and, like, really helping him grow. Emma creates a safe space for Evan. I'm pretty sure we saw this specifically before. Arguments are heated due to being defensive and emotional. Why do we keep saying arguments? I don't like this, and I'm not surprised it's being defensive because they're probably defensive about their own views and things. Their Mars signs are sextile to each other, so there's healthy competitiveness. We see again, fighting can happen quickly. I'm not surprised. They're supportive of each other and they're in sync together. I mean, Evan's Mars, Trine Emma's Jupiter, feel they can do anything together. I feel like maybe that's the glue that held them together for so long, if they feel they can work together really well and they can do a lot of great things together. Emma is okay with Evan asserting himself. I don't think so. Like, I mean, she just seems to be very insecure of herself, so maybe she is okay with that, and she's only dissatisfied with Evan being a bit unstable and not really nurturing her. Healthy competitiveness, we're seeing for the billionth time. They have fun together, they're a lucky couple. Yeah, I would say that. Like, we've seen that a couple times, and they are, like, because they probably helped each other with, like, publicity for the show and everything. Enjoy trying new things together, shared interest in sports. Okay, so maybe they, because we saw they do sports together, maybe, I don't know, they went for the same team or something, I don't know. Emma helps Evan get out of his comfort zone. I'm pretty sure we're seeing again, or did we see that inverted before with Evan helping Emma get out of the comfort zone? Their names are so similar, by the way. Evan feels more energized around Emma, possibly a reckless relationship. Not surprised at all. Evan's Mars square Emma's Uranus, exciting but unstable, and it's not long term. Evan gets easily irritated with Emma. What? This guy is weird as well. Like, these are both, I don't like this relationship at all. Like, why is he so easily irritated with her? Like, the only times we saw him liking her is when he's idolizing her and using her. Like, what is this? Encourage the other to be reckless. Don't like seeing this. Emma distances herself from Evan. Emma sees Evan as a threat to her independence. She really also, I don't want to say doesn't like him, because I feel like she does. More than Evan, it seems like, but she seems to feel very threatened by this guy. Emma triggers Evan's temper. What in the... So finally, we are done. That was the last aspect. So my final thoughts, this relationship is trash. I'm really, like, I don't think I've said this in a reading, but, like, I'm genuinely happy, like, these two have moved on each other, because this is not good. Like, I don't feel happy after reading this. I went into this reading, like, you know, with what has come out about this relationship. Okay, you know, Emma's probably not gonna look great, like, whatever. I thought it was going to be heavy in that way, but I feel like it's kind of worse because it, like, both of them have very, like, I don't want to say weird places, but, like, it's kind of, like, darker intentions in this relationship, and the, like, intentions and motivations in this relationship are worse than I expected. Evan, first of all, he just seems to be a douchebag that's using Emma. Like, I don't know the guy. He doesn't seem to be good in this relationship, though. Neither of them do. And I think we saw that both of them act different in this relationship, and I really hope that's the case, because these two seem terrible to be in a relationship with. But Emma also doesn't feel great, and I'm surprised, because I mean, I didn't really expect, like, to be like, oh, what are her intentions in this, you know, what she did. But, like, I feel like we did discover the intentions behind, like, what she possibly did. And I don't want to justify what she did. Like, I'm saying both of them are bad. Like, none of them are doing good things in this relationship. But she genuinely, like, I do feel bad for her, because, like, this guy's using her, and I feel like she unfortunately seemed to genuinely, like, fall for him and like him and felt that they could have a relationship, and she seemed to want to make it work, but, like, she also felt very threatened by him, and also her having difficulty with being affectionate. Like, I know this is a bit of a, like, reach, but she probably does have her own internal issues she needs to work out, and hopefully she has since then, but I also kind of feel bad for her, because she just doesn't seem to be okay in this relationship. And the overall relationship itself, like, the positives where they work well together,
But also, we kept seeing how they argue a lot. Like, this is such a bad relationship. I don't know. I'm not impressed. I'm gonna go have a nice cup of tea after and relax. Spending time with these two is not the best. I think we saw before people like being in their presence. I don't. I can say that for myself. Those are my final thoughts. That's the reading. Yeah, definitely let me know what you guys think. This is, I mean, I think this is trash, but maybe you guys have different opinions on this. If you did like this video, give this a like, subscribe for more videos from me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
This video is brought to you by my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. Check it out for personalized Synastry chart readings and monthly transit tarot readings. Link in the description.